Mama see bless, Mama see bless,
Yes, beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smarting. I want the money, I want smarting. One life to live, it on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking like the fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the people in millions. If you my friend, stay constant, you chameleon. The only go on, no, I'll come on. I don't wanna know how the feeling said, how the feeling said. I'm a feeling, be the feeling, yeah. Yet I wanna control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want who you let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I say way down, bring it way down. WLB motherfucker, spin the knee. The real we do in the city. When I you're not fear fit. The lion from the jungle in the time midway. KK rappers go to bed. The country got men. Bow down to the king, hit man. Royal Highness, call me the rap god. Got the key to the city, call me the landlord. 6 feet my piggy, when you see me. Say the mayor move, I be walking jet like 4G. Now the sign you can hear when I enter. Round of applause for the no-star general. Back, they all a type of style. When it's so fresh, can get your ear. We were not here, now we here. You got see talking tone, they are running in our chair. I feel the beat. If you watching me, you know what time it is. Yeah, we go. Trouble night in the city. And I enjoy in the city, yeah. Trouble night in the city. And I enjoy in the city, man. You were not here, now we here. They didn't say we here. We were not here, now we here.
Shiny, Saji.
They didn't say we here.
Your time over, everybody for back. We back again, hip go on the map. Your teddy picking and say they in her zone. Starting teddy water in the town, I in my zone.
One left to live, shake it way down. If you leave, well, then you in your Mama see bless, Mama see bless,
Beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said, miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smarting. I want the money, I want smarting. One life to live, bleed on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking, let it fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the people in millions. If you my friend, stay constant, you chameleon. The only go on, know how come on. I don't wanna know how the feeling said, how the feeling said. I'm a feeling, be the feeling, yeah. Yet I wanna control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want hold you, let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said, miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I say way down, bring it way down. One left to live, shake it way down. If you leave, well, then you in your grave now. But a human being, you can certify the other being. I just wanna do it my way. I beg you to way away. Mama, see bless. Mama, see bless.
Chaos Beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said, miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smarting. I want the money, I want smarting. One life to live, bleed on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking, let it fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the people in millions. If you my friend, stay constant, you chameleon. The only go on, know how come on. I don't wanna know how the feeling said, how the feeling said. I'm a feeling, be the feeling, yeah. Yet I wanna control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want hold you, let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said, miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I say way down, bring it way down. One left to live, shake it way down. If you leave, well, then you in your grave now. But a human being, you can certify the other being. I just wanna do it my way. I beg you to way away. I wanna enjoy my way. What thing I get, let's say for the profit. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. No money, no family, not a friend, not at all, you be nobody. Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said, miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy.
And let's cross over today into the Belizona, Switzerland, as Ali Corsia should be convicted of all the war crimes charges he faces, jailed for a maximum of 20 years and then barred for entering Switzerland for 15 years. Prosecutor said on Monday yesterday in the final argument 4 days to the end of the historic trial. The chief prosecutor, Andres Muller, told the Swiss Federal Criminal Court that Ali Corsia was guilty of the 25 counts of murder, cannibalism, rape, sexual enslavement, forced transportation, looting, and recruitment of child soldiers. He told the three-judge panel that Corsia killed for power and looted for wealth. Muller said that Corsia should be given more than 20 years, ruling on the Swiss law that limits penalties for war crimes to that period. Muller pointed to the jail terms handed to others involved in the war crimes in Liberia and Sierra Leone. Charles Taylor received 50 years, Chucky Taylor 97, and Mohamed Jabate convicted of criminal immigration fraud rather than war crimes. He is serving 30 years sentence. A permanent resident of Switzerland said since 1998 he is the first Liberian to face war crimes in connection with the country's 14 years of civil war. He is one of the three former fighters of the United Liberation Movement of Liberia for Democracy, ULIMO, to be indicted for crimes related to the war. The others are Mohamed Jabate and Kunta Kamara. Corsia is accused of 18 victims murdered, including 7 into Zozo, 4 into Kolahun, 8 into Foya, and 1 into Vanjama and the Babahun area. More on that development, you go there and check it out together for detail coming up for you. And let's now cross of Sasstown, Grand Crew County as jubilation onto the street of Sasstown, Grand Crew County. The president of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Vananwia, has light up street lights and homes in his native town, Sasstown, Grand Crew County. The Sasstown was lighted on Sunday evening with solar panels on the eve of president departure from the county. The installation of solar lights came a few days after the president announced making Sasstown a beautiful city. He said, as president, it will be important to ensure that his homeland is developed while developing other areas into the country, Liberia. The street and 500 homes in the Sasstown was lighted, the first phase of its electrification of the Grand Crew County. And during a formal ceremony recently to light up the streets of Monrovia and its environs, President Weah promised to extend the project to other parts of the country. More on that, you go there and check it out. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry has announced that it has quarantined a consignment of rice at the free port of Monrovia after verifying that water entered a shipping vessel. A quarantine is a restriction on the movement of people, animals, and goods, which is intended to prevent the spread of disease or pest, according to reports. But however, the ministry in the press really says the public can be assured that no such unwholesome commodity will enter the Liberian market. It said, therefore, that officials' disposal of the consignment will begin today on Tuesday, the 2nd of March, at the Wingtown deposit site into Painesville at about 8 o'clock in the morning. The Commerce Ministry says it is working with all lines ministries and agencies to ensure proper disposal of the damaged commodities. Meanwhile, the ministry has promised to provide further updates throughout and at the conclusion of the disposal exercise, according to the Ministry of Commerce release. After 8 persons got killed, reportedly by carbon monoxide poisoning in Painesville, at least 2 more deaths has been recorded a year so far. One involving the victim Florence massacre and the one an unidentified man mobbed by the crowd in Painesville outside Monrovia. A huge crowd gathered in shock around the corpse of the late Florence into the SKD Boulevard, the second community of Painesville City on Monday morning, the 1st of March. The body of the lady could be seen on the sidewalk covered with a banana leaf. A man identifying himself to be journalist of the CFA Canon from New Matata Singer said the late Florence is his son's mother, narrating that he was the one who has rented a place she was dwelling. According to him, the deceased lived into the Rock Hill community. Canon narrated to a live video broadcast from the scene where the corpse was found. Florence was still his woman, but they were not living together. He said, "We have been together. We were living, we were loving, and she was stopping at a different place, and I was stopping at a different place," according to Canon. Why are all these things happening on depths upon depths, mysterious depths? Is still a serious question being asked by Liberians into Liberia. But more on that, you go there and check it out. The good news: citizens and residents of the Somalia Drive, Gardnersville, including Painesville suburb, will soon find a relief to high constraints experience in the daily transportation to Central Monrovia with the completion of the Somalia Drive highway shortly. The newly constructed road will lead from the commercial district of Red Light into the Bushward Island Freeport community. Is the Japanese-funded project. As hopes are high for the completion of the major road, the Japanese ambassador credited to Liberia, His Excellency Himino Sutomo, with residents into Ghana at the head of a high-powered Japanese delegation, is visiting Liberia on a 5-day assessment visit beginning today, Monday. That is yesterday, Monday, the 1st of March to Friday, the March 5th of this year. The visit of the Japanese ambassador Himino and the delegation is twofold, including a conference with President Weah on a number of diplomatic missions, matters, and Japan's possible development cooperation project, as well as visiting the Japanese counterpart value-funded project into Liberia. It can be recalled that the government of Japan is financing a number of economic recovery projects under its KR Food Aid and non-project grant aid programs in Liberia. These projects include, not limited to, the construction of a bridge into Dia, Tala, and the Kalia. In Grand Kibau County, constructions of warehouses into Nimba, Bong, and Lufa County to address the perennial post-harvest storage challenges. The construction of the 240 local housing unit into Saxton, Grand Crew County, the construction of the Gorbachev Market and the Ominga Village community, and the ongoing Douala Market project, the opening of outlets along the Robertsfield Highway under the CRDP by the Minister of Public Works, the Small Medium Enterprise Development Project at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, as well as the Human Capacity Building Project at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and among others. And more on that, you go there and check it out. The ambassador of Liberia into Washington, D.C., in collaboration with the Consul General into New York and honorary consuls in Atlanta and Minnesota, will on the 30th of June 2021 host the Liberian Business and Investment Forum. This annual event was inaugurated in 2019 but it wasn't possible in 2020 due to the outbreak of the COVID-19. But according to Liberia's ambassador credited to the United States of America, George S. W. Patton Sr., the forum this year brings together speakers and experts in the fields of agriculture, health, and tourism. The forum will be held virtually by way of Zoom. In a release signed by the Minister Counselor for Press and Public Affairs at the Embassy into Washington, D.C., Jerome Anasta Chie, Sion said Ambassador Patton explained that the purpose of the Liberian Business and Investment Forum is to attract the United States and the direct foreign investment to Liberia, as well as stimulate private, public, and private government partnership. More on that, you go there and check it out. The female senatorial candidates battling their way through the Supreme Court to earn a seat in the Senate. Boto Khan and Edith Gondler fight their way through the Supreme Court to make women's representation in the upper house 3 among 27 men. The women's struggle to the Senate is a serious fight. Boto Khan, a commoner and a meat seller who some may be considered as not having any class in politics, has proven to be very formidable into the almost male senatorial election, but the fight to clip her wings continue to be waged and stalling her certification as winners of the election into Buffalo County. She is not the only female force in the camel through the eye of a needle to add up to women's representation into the Senate. Edith Gondoware of Nima County is also equally battling the ruling establishment to earn a seat into the upper house of legislature. Despite the irregularities that characterized the December 8 polls, Madam Cannon with about 4,767 votes, while her counter for the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change, Alfred Kwewu, a sitting lawmaker into the House of Representatives, Alfred Kwewu had 4,281 votes from 139 polling places out of 144, according to data from the National Elections Commission. More on that, you go there and check it out. And good news from Nima County as the Gantami border officially opened on the health protocol, a strong one. After a year of closure from the coronavirus, Liberian mean with Guinea at the Ganta Nima County was officially opened on Saturday, the 27th of February, upon the visit by some officials of the Ministry of Health, headed by the Minister Wilhelmina Jala. The opening of the border brought joy among the residents of Ganta as well as citizens in Guinea. Immediately after the opening, a huge crowd of people were seen crossing the border from other sides as means of showing how happy and relieved they were. The Ministry of Health said it has put in place a strong health protocol ranging from wearing nose masks to washing of hands and temperature checking of all travelers. Minister Jala and her team, upon receiving or viewing the health protocol put in place at the border, ordered the border open and said in these words, "I will lawfully inform the Minister of Justice and the President." After days of speculation into the media outlets that the National Port Authority has paid or planning to pay the sum of 40,000 United States dollars to the National Elections Commission for a recount in Riverside County following the mandate from the Supreme Court, the Commission has rejected the report and said it is untrue and that it has no business with the National Port Authority or any other entity to fund election processes except the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the MFDP. At the press conference held over the weekend at the headquarters in Monrovia, the National Elections Commission, through its chairperson, Director Brown Lassana, said it is the prerogative of the Ministry of Finance to fund all national elections through direct budgetary support or through partners of the government. The Minister of Health, Dr. Wilhelmina Jala, applauds the ArcelorMittal Liberia for great support to the health sector. Bill Tuawe, Bekugbe Jr. addresses the HO problem at the only high school in Riverside County. And finally, into Liberia, the massive blockage out unlatched onto the Liberia's gold industry imminent mineral depletion loom. The Liberia remains one of the world's largest deposit of natural gold and other minerals, yet the country still lie in ruin. The CSO's questioned Green General Authority over the fake report of F-moving equipment. As well, civil society organization in Grand County has expressed their disagreement with the authority. 24.3 million supplemental budget been approved. The House of Representatives, with a simple majority of votes of 25 and the one abstention, has concurred with the Liberian Senate. The President of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Mananwia, and his government are set to construct 15 new presidential palaces across the country. The Nima County lawmaker wants the NCCC upgraded to university level. The chairman of the House Education and Public Administration Committee, Representative Johnson Wekolo, has appealed to his colleagues to repeal the law and wanting to make Nima County, the NCCC, upgraded to a university level. And let's now take a brief out in Liberia on today, as we'll be crossing outside Liberia on the African scenes. But thanks to all of you for joining us on to this edition of the program, The Heat. Thanks to those watching live on our Cool Line 2 page this afternoon. Thank you so much. Vavelik said, good afternoon, Nathaniel. My name is Solomon E. Aradu Koroma, and I'm watching live from the New Hope Place, Peace Island Community Block B from the incoming Representative Mohammed Kroma Company. Mohammed Trawalit said, good afternoon, Nathaniel. That's all. Do Koli Afanso said, good afternoon, Mr. Val. My name is Afanso Koli Do Jr. I'm watching you from the Mercy Farm community. Alvin Horton said, good afternoon. I'm watching you from the Bow, and thanks for the Thank you so much. And Aaron Nangwe said, good afternoon, Mr. Val. My name is Aaron Nangwe, and I'm watching you live from the Boulevard Junction. Let me appreciate the time you dedicate to the Liberian people. Thank you so much. Tower Goo said, good afternoon. I am Tower Boko Goo, watching you live from the Painesville Central Market. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Moses Rahim Menley said, good afternoon, J. Nathaniel Val. I'm watching live on GSN Road, Gabriel Sharp area. Thanks so much for the update. Thank you so much for always following up. And G. Uriah Somerville Jr. said, good afternoon. I'm watching live from two houses. I'm a resident. As a matter of fact, 2 houses live right now. Patrick August Slomo said, good afternoon. My name is Patrick August Slomo, and I'm watching live from the Bentor City Youth Camp community. And Emmanuel Ndemi says, good afternoon. I'm watching you live on Mount Parkley. Thank you so much. Maswell Samuel Gawe says, good afternoon. And I'm watching you live from the SKD community. Thanks, Nat, for the growth and development of Liberia. And the show is the best show into Liberia. Thank you so much also for always following on our program. Jojo Howard Jr. says, good afternoon, Uncle Nat. I strongly support the restoration of the Justice Minister. He getting out of hand, and watching live from the Sakapia City, Nima County. Thank you so much, Jojo, for always joining us. Edward Stevens join our platform, the Director of Radio. Thank you so much. And Luis Cruzo said, I'm watching you from Plebo City, Maryland County. Thank you so much, Luis. Max K. Mitzer says, good afternoon, The Heat, showtime. Thank you so much. Joe Mandy, he's watching live. Thank you so much for always joining us. this afternoon. And Wonderful Wisdom, Wonderful Wesley says, good afternoon, Mr. Val. And I'm watching you live from my comfort zone in Police Academy behind the Royal Plus. Thank you so much for the update. And it's Amandia's son. Thank you so much for, he said, good afternoon, Mr. Val. I'm closely following the heat. Flomo Johnson said, good afternoon, Mr. Val. Thanks for the update. And I'm watching you from my Kaba gas station red light. My Kaba gas station, rather. And Emmanuel Roosevelt Clon said, good afternoon, Mr. Val. I'm watching you from Stephen Tower Estate, my estate resident. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Emmanuel Flomo, thanks so much for joining us. So I'm watching from Congo Town. Thank you so much. Odisa Volko says, good afternoon, QFM. I'm watching you from my resident in Zubatam. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Thanks to all of you and joining our new platform. And you can also do well by sharing the live video and also inviting others to join. Always remember to share the live video and invite others to join our live broadcast. Let's now cross outside Liberia on the African scene to check out what's going on today. Good afternoon, it's a pleasant welcome. Let's now cross outside Liberia. My first stop going to be into Nigeria today, and I'm right at the Government Girls Junior Secondary School into the Jinjabi, into the Zamfara State University Basic Education Board, into the Zamzubi, the PM 01011 into the Gusayu area, and schoolgirls kidnapped from a boarding school into the northwest Nigeria state of Zamfara have been released. Good news. The State Commissioner for Security and Internal Affairs, Abubakar Mohammed Daura, told the BBC that a total of 279 students were freed and are currently into the state capital, the Gusayo. He said that the 317 has now recovered. To be precise, as no girls have been left behind after the years. The schoolgirls were sent by government. That on Friday morning, the first one and totally unacceptable. The Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawala is expected to address the girls on today, Tuesday. And more on that detail, you just go there, check it out to get a full detail cover for you as we make a long day to land into chart. Today, chart me, opposition candidate Salab Kamzabo has announced his exit from the presidential election set for the 11th of April. Mr. Kamzabo has accused the incumbent Idris Deby of using force to intimidate rivals. President Deby came to power in a military coup in 1990 and is serving his fifth term in office. He is a strong ally of the West in regional counter-terrorism operations. The announcement by Mr. Kamzabo followed the killing of at least 2 people as security forces tried to arrest another opposition leader, Yahya Diallo, at his home into the capital, Gemina. The climate of insecurity would definitely overshadow the electoral campaign of candidates confronting Deby Patriotic Salvation Movement, the MPS, into chart today. Let's now make a brief stop into Morocco as Morocco suspends relation with the German embassy. Morocco has announced that it has suspended contacts with the German embassy into the country over its stance onto the Western Sahara. And the country's foreign minister cited a deep disagreements concerning crucial issues without elaborating. A senior Moroccan diplomat cited Germany's reaction to the United States decision into December to recognize Moroccan sovereignty over the West Sahara as a ransom for the suspension of the relations. According to report, the diplomats also cited Germany's decision not to invite Morocco to an international meeting about Libya last year. Germany today record a United Nations Security Council meeting to discuss the issues after the former United States President Donald Trump and the Washington recognized Morocco's sovereignty over the Western Sahara. The Western Sahara, the former Spanish colony, was annexed by Morocco in 1975. Since then, it has been the subject of dispute between the Moroccans and the Saharawi people led by the Polisario Front into Morocco on today. And today we will cross over to the Niger into Nigeria as the Niger leader charged with plot to overthrow the government. Let's now take a look. The leading Nigerian opposition figure Amandu, who is being held by the authorities, faces multiple charges, including being involved in an organization seeking to overthrow a diplomatic regime. The authorities has also brought charges of regionalist propaganda and a speech inclined to set the people against one another, against the opposition leader. At least 2 people died last week during the protests following the presidential election, in which ruling party candidate Mohamed Bazoum was declared winner with 55.75% of the vote. Opposition candidate Mohamed Usman contested the result, alleging fraud. Last week, Mr. Usman's supporters clashed with riot police in a street confrontation following the announcement. The protesters set houses on fire, including the Radio France International, the FRI correspondent Musa Kaka, into the Nigeria. Today, Hollywood stars celebrate African print with gowns. The Hollywood star Viola Davis' gown from the Golden Globes Award showcased the work of Cameroon-born designer Claude Kamini. Davis wore the attire during a virtual appearance at the awards, for whom it was made with fabric from Cameroon. The United States actress was nominated into the category of Best Actress into the Motion Picture Drama for her role into the May Rainy Black Bottom. And she is on a mission to popularize the print of Africa. Viola wanted a designer who spoke to her specifically as a black woman. And good news for others around the world in Liberia, Africa, and those into Africa. Let's now take a look into Mozambique today as Amnesty International has published a report accusing Mozambique Army of private military contractor causing the deaths of hundreds of civilians. And the international community has failed to address this crisis as it was escalated in the full-blown armed conflict over the last 3 years. The watchdog urged all parties to immediately stop targeting civilians and called on the Mozambican government to investigate the abuses. And last year, several videos emerged showing alleged soldiers carrying out abuses against suspected militants and residents and doing the counterinsurgency operations into the Cabo Delgado. And Mozambique has been battling an insurgency since October 2017, in which more than 2,300 people have been killed and over 600,000 others have been forced from their homes. And more on that, you go there. Thank you. Check it out. And today, with a deep look into South Sudan, the South Sudanese military has announced the death of 3 generals who died after becoming ill with COVID-19. It identified the 3 as David Moyat Barich, Elijah Alion Ayum, and Maboa Market. The burial will be organized by a committee in collaboration with the families of the deceased, according to the military. The Chief of Defense Force, General Johnson Juma Okot, has urged all soldiers to adhere to COVID-19 safety measures, according to the military spokesperson, Brigadier General Santo Dominic Achor. Over the last 2 weeks, 2 permanent soldiers scattered at the University of Juba has also died after contracting coronavirus. In total, 8,144 coronavirus cases have been confirmed into the world's newest nation. The Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization said South Sudan is witnessing a surge in cases because of poor adherence to safety measures like social distancing and wearing of face masks today. And let's cross into today, Morocco. The church-hailed Moroccan art is being sold for the record price today in Africa. Let's take a look. And today, a painting by the British wartime leader Winston Churchill has sold at auction for 11.6 million United States dollars or 8.4 million euros, a record price for his work. Churchill painted the tower of the Koutoubia Mosque into Morocco in 1943 and later gave to the United States President Franklin Roosevelt. It is thought to be the only painting he completed during the Second World War. The 2 leaders were in Morocco for a Casablanca conference where they planned the defeat of the Nazi Germany and the liberation of the Western Europe. And today into Zanzibar, the new vice president is being sworn into office. The new vice president of Tanzania, semi-autonomous island of Zanzibar, has been sworn in less than 2 weeks after his predecessor died. Otam Sharif replaced Sharif Hamad, who died on the 17th of February at the age of 77. No official reason has been given for his death, but it came nearly 2 weeks after his party said he has contracted COVID-19. Mr. Massoud had previously served into senior position into Zanzibar government, including as Attorney General. His swearing in office at State House into Zanzibar was posted on YouTube, and I'm looking at it right now, right before me. And today, Ghana began a rollout of the vaccine into the COVID-19 hotspot. Ghana has supported or started a mass rollout of 600,000 Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine doses it received last week. The vaccination drive is taking place in 43 districts, mainly in the southern Ghana, where a high number of COVID-19 cases has been recorded. Priority is being given to frontline health workers, those with underlying health conditions, and those aged over 60 years old. Pregnant women and children won't be vaccinated, as authorities said they don't yet have enough data on possible side effects for this group of people. The country's parliament, which was shut after the 17 members of parliament tested positive into the virus, resumed on Tuesday today, and members of the parliament are expected to get the jobs. There's still a lot of speculation, even after President Nana Akufo-Addo received the vaccine online television on Monday yesterday. About 20 million people are expected to have received the jobs across the country before the end of this year. The Ghanaian authorities have also approved the use of the Sputnik V vaccine. Ghana has received the vaccine through the COVAX scheme, which hopes to deliver more than 2 billion doses to people in the 190 communities or countries in less than a year, according to report. And the first batch of the COVAX vaccine has arrived into Nigeria. There's a lot more coming up onto the African scenes. You just go there and check it out to get the full detail coming up for you. As we take our brief out to check out outside the word to show what's going on as France reverse stance onto the AstraZeneca vaccines. Let's take a brief out. Let's say thank you so much for joining us, Nathaniel P. Maximo T. Shedrack Gibson Jr. and just joining us, Aloysius Momolu Kwewu. It says, good afternoon, Uncle Nat. Thank you so much for the topic and the discussion that I'm watching live from my Dupont Road resident, to be specific, the Scrapper Dr. Block. Thank you so much for joining me. And Molu Jalab said, good afternoon, I'm watching live from Grand Bassa County, Buchanan City. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Jala. And Mahalapu's son says, good afternoon, I'm watching from Zizi community. Julius Maigibi Pekin Singwe says, I'm Julius Singwe watching from the SD Cooper Road. Thank you so much, Thomas FZZ. Thank you so much. It's watching from the RC Lawson Town community. Thank you so much for the show. Ruben Gay says, good afternoon. Not good afternoon to you, Ruben. And Vaba Fofana says, good afternoon. I'm watching live from my Matale home, from my homie Matale. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Flomo is watching live. Thanks to all of you joining us onto our live broadcast. Please do well by inviting others and sharing our live video. If you do it, we'll be so much glad that you did. And today, as Zachariah, lovely child, destined for greatness, Carl Jr. says, good afternoon, Mr. Va. I'm watching you, and thanks for the show. And Success Carl Jr., thank you so much for joining us. Let's now look out and outside Africa on the world scenes. And after that, we will join our regular future. Today's in history. The older French patients can now get the jab, where had been initially limited to those aged under 65. Today, France reverses the stance on the AstraZeneca vaccine. Thank you today. And into the New York governor, she resigned over harassment. A third woman has accused the influential Democratic politicians Andrew Cuomo of sexual harassment into the United States. And the video shows about 2020 Iran missile attack on the United States forces. Iran targeted a Iraq base hosting United States troops to avenge the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani into the Middle East. And in Europe today, Portland activists acquitted over the LGBT Virgin Mary. The three women who face up to 3 years in jail were found not guilty of offering religious feelings into Portland. And today, let's take a look what's happening to Sri Lanka as Sri Lanka chooses remote island for burial. The remote island has been chosen by Sri Lanka government for the burial of COVID-19 victims from the minority Muslim and Christian community. The government previously forced minorities to cremate their dead in line with the practice of the majority Buddhists. A claimed barrier could contaminate groundwater, but the government backed down last week in the face of vehement criticism from the rights group. It lies some 300 kilometers, 186 miles away from the capital, Colombo, and was chosen, the government said, because it is thinly populated. Muslims were angry by the ban introduced last April and said there were no scientific basis for it. Muslims make up nearly 10% of the population. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International and the United Nations, has also raised objection. More on that. You go there and check it out. Let us cross to Australia. Michael Goodinska, as Australia music industry icon, is dead. He died at the age of 68. Michael Goodinska, an Australian music industry icon who helped shape a sound from decades, has died at the age of 68. The Much Rome record owner and the veteran tour promoter died in his sleep at his home into the Melbourne on Monday night, according to report. Good and Scar were best known for championing local talents, helping to create stars such as the Colin Minogue and Jimmy Barnes. In the tribute, Minogue called Good and Scar a titan of the music industry and said her heart is broken by the death of Michael Goodiscar. And today, Australian rock star bands who Goodiscar helped to become one of the country's best-selling artists said that the heart of Australian music has been ripped out by his passing. And finally today, as we cross over to a regular future of this program, the United Kingdom launches humanitarian aid to war-torn Yemen. The British government cut reliefs by some as much as 60%, citing financial pressure for the pandemic. And the fast-checking claims about India COVID cure. A herbal remedy has resurfaced that's said to be a cure for COVID-19, but it is not being lessened as such. More on that, you go there and check it out to get the full detail coming for you. And to this in history, so regular future on this program, bringing date-to-date histories happening in decades, centuries ago in history. Today in history is a regular future. Good afternoon, it's a pleasant welcome if you just join us. My name is Nathaniel, it's a pleasant welcome. Russia, the Kaz Nicholas II added after being on the years from 1917 to March 2nd, after being on the years of ruled by Roman Catholic dynasty, Kaz Nicholas II is forced to added following the decline of the Argentine Protestant Africa, while the Kaz sought to still independence. Demonstrators marching on the Water Palace today in 1917. Today in the United States in 1921, the United States robbery. Today, William Dalton, a bank clerk who has stolen 772,000 United States dollars in the Liberty bonds, were captured, or about 500 United States dollars of the money was recovered. John Draper, the village constable of the Hague Ward, Illinois, was the one who has arrested Dayton. A reward sum of 26,000 United States dollars was set aside for Draper for the arrest made, provided it is proved to be entitled to receive this money today in 1921. Today in 1939, the Vatican Pope Paul the 11th. Today, Pope Pius the 11th was elected as the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church today in 1939. And today in 1933, the United States and Hong Kong, the original Hong Kong movie has its world premiere into New York today in 1933. And today in history, March 2nd in 1944, into Italy, 500 suffocate. A train stopped into a tunnel near the Silenor into the Appellate Mountain, and more than 500 people on board got suffocated and died due to toxic chemical monoxide, that is carbon monoxide form, today in 1944, March 2nd. Today in 1962, the Burma premier, that is the prime minister, was arrested. In 1962, the general Wing of the Burma had arrested the prime minister U Nor and ex-president Sao Sui Tak. In the process, Tak's son was wounded by the bullet as a guard has escaped. The mini seizure was announced on the state radio by the Ni Wing. He was succeeded by Noor in 1960 after heading a non-elected government for 18 months today in 1962. Today in 1969, the USSR and China. On this day, March 2nd, 1969, the two greatest communist powers of the world opened fire against each other. The climax of this clash occurred into the eastern portion of the USSR onto the Ussuri River between Soviet and the Chinese troop today in 1969. In 1991, Sri Lanka car bomb occurred. In 1991, 19 are killed, including Sri Lanka Deputy Defense Minister Ranja Ranja Wajirant, who, when a car bomb exploded into the capital, Colombo, in Sri Lanka in 1991. Today in 2006, March 2nd, 2006, the United States sealed nuclear accord with India. The United States and India has finalized their nuclear deal into Delhi. The President Bush and the Mammoth sank has given India an access to the United States civil nuclear technology and will be opening its nuclear facility to inspection. Once the agreement has been made, it still had to be confirmed by the Congress. Today, March 2nd, 2006 in history. Today in 2009, the Guinea-Bissau president was assassinated. Today, March 2nd, 2009, the armed group of soldiers attacked the president of Guinea-Bissau, João Fernando Vieira, residents into Bissau, and the president is assassinated. The Guinea-Bissau army officials have claimed responsibility for the Vieira death following the assassination of Army Chief of the Staff, Batista Tangma Nawak, who was a key rival into the Vieira. In 2009, the Guinea-Bissau president was assassinated on March 2nd today. And today, Karen Ahmed Carpenter, March 2nd, 1950, into the New Haven, the Connecticut, United States, was born. She died on the 4th of February 1983 into the Downey, California, United States. Karen Carpenter is best known for her singing as part of the Carpenters, brothers and sisters Karen and Richie. Their hits included They Long to Be, Close to You, Top of the World, and We Have Only Just Begun. Her death in 1983 was linked to the complication related to the anorexia, the nervosa. Prior to her death, very little was discussed about the anorexia nervosa of the bulimia, but following her death, many more celebrities decided to go public about their eating disorder. We bringing the problem of eating disorder further into the limelight. Today's in history is directly our future on this program. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of the program. My name is Nathaniel. It's a pleasant welcome to all of you. Samuel Sankara K. Johnson just joined our live platform, and Alvin Zecheru is also live on our platform. Or Robert Akinti is also live, and thank you so much for joining us. Samuel Sankara Johnson says, good afternoon. My name is Samuel Sankara Johnson, the Secretary General of the U.S. Samuel of the Muscle County of the Uncompromising People Liberation Party. I'm watching you live from Painesville City. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope to talk to Maxim Pacquiao. Maxim Pacquiao is the Executive Director of the Liberia Justice Peace Forum, and we hope to talk to him on the platform. They want to have their position on this issue of the EPS and Melvin Early death. They want to have the position. The Justice Forum Liberia want to have their own position on this issue. We will be talking to him on the platform this afternoon. Let's just take a break as we'll connect the Executive Director of the Justice Forum Liberia on the program. Good afternoon. It's a pleasant welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's do this break.
Mama see bless, Mama see bless,
Chaos Beats.
Everybody die, but not everybody live. Everybody have just one life to live. Please do your do and don't come my way. But I said miss my Hennessy with Hennessy, I wanna anything. Let go, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. I tell you, but I must enjoy. I got to enjoy. To look for money, said I'm smartin'. I want the money, I want smartin'. One life to live, bleed on me. I'm a blessing, God and looking, let it fasting. Forget my matter and carry on. I want the people in millions. If you my friend, stay constant, you chameleon. The only go on, no, I'll come on. I don't wanna know how the feeling said, I'm a feeling, be the feeling, yeah. Yet I wanna control what you got there. If that bucket there, I want who you let it bucket, yeah. No money, no family, not a friend, not a